What is up, people, and welcome back to another video. So today we're into episode number 141 of the career mode, and guys, we are shaping up to be a very interesting last season here at the club. We go out of the Champions League group phases with the 100% win rate that we were looking to do in the last episode. If you didn't go back, or if you haven't watched it, go back and watch that episode and you'll see if we did manage to do it. We did in fact get out of the group stage with a 100% win rate. So we move into the knockout phases, the most informed team in the competition. However, we know that it's not easy. We got to the final last time, unfortunately lost out to PSG on penalties in that occasion, so there is that possibility that it could quite happen again, but we'll have to see what happens come the back end of this year, and we'll see exactly where we finish the season off, and the series off really as well. So I'm hoping we can finish it off on a high, and if we can, it'll be very, very, very good for us. But, you know guys, we've won the Champions League that many times now, that winning it one more, even if I was not to win it this time around, I can't say I would be that disheartened. You know, we've won it so many times already. Never won it here at Inter Milan in our first season in it, and this is our second season now, of course. But to not win it over 2 seasons, it's not the end of the world. We won the league last year. We won the cup as well last year. So pretty much looking like we're going to win the league again this year as well. So it is what it is. I mean, I would have liked to say we could get ourselves a Champions League title and also go fully unbeaten in the league. But sometimes, guys, in football and in FIFA, of course, it's never so simple, the task of going completely unbeaten. I managed to do it once, Hartlepool in League 1, and I think, guys, that will probably be the only time I do it in FIFA 17. I don't think I'll ever do it again in FIFA 17 before we hit FIFA 18, but who knows, maybe I will. Like I've said before, there's going to be other stuff coming out after this series is done, so don't worry your little heads about what's coming out after this, because there is so much still to come on the channel. I've also just ordered a brand new webcam. I think it's the Logitech C9020, I think it is. You know, the one that costs like 50 odd quid. But apparently it's quite good, I've heard. So yeah, you can be able to do some sort of, I guess, face cam videos down the line at some point. But the thing is, I really like doing my career mode videos, like post-com, after I've known what's happened, because it really, like, that's the way I've done it all the way through. And I think to stop it now would be really weird. So I don't want to do that. I want to keep it the same way that I have always done. So I won't be expected to do live face cams, you know, for the career mode episodes and stuff like that. I've got to set it all up as well when it comes and stuff, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. But it means that streaming is now a possibility as well for you guys. So in the future, guys, if you want to follow me over on twitch.tv, I'll leave a link in the description. You guys can check me out over there, and you guys can follow me on Twitch. It is a different name, unfortunately, to the one that I've got here, and that's because I used to be called DJ Wood over there as well, but then unfortunately forgot the password to that account. So unfortunately, guys, I have actually, well, it's a different name on Twitch, but you can see. Enough of the tangent now. We're moving into the first game of today's episode against Torino. There's been a few chances already for you guys to feast your eyes upon before we came into this last bit here. Torino 0, Inter Milan 1 after a very nice move resulting in a goal. I think it was a nice ball through from Tolisso into Fosu Mensah, and he makes no mistake with the finish in this one in the second half. It was an interesting game, to say the least. Torino were never really in it in the first one, but the second half they came out and gave me a little bit of a better game, I guess. But we didn't find the goal until the 60th minute, and it wasn't even our talisman, Marcus Rashford, the man who sat currently top of the top scorers list in this Calcio A. So that becomes Fosu Mensah's 4th league goal of the campaign so far, which from CDM is not too bad at all, you know. From a CDM to get 4 league goals already isn't too bad at all. So 60 minutes in, we were leading the game by a goal to 0. And 66 minutes in, we sent our teammate down the right-hand side here, Ousmane Dembele. He gets a nice cut in on the defender there. Didn't even have to do any skills for that one. Rashford striking goalwards. It hits the keeper. Good stop. But then Tolisso is there to make this to make the rebounded effort into the back of the net. So we took a 2-goal advantage here, 68 minutes in. Honestly, guys, like, that was so simple for Dembele. You saw me. I didn't even touch any of the skills. I mean, I did try to. Like, don't get me wrong. I tried to do a stop and turn there, but for some reason it just messed up. In the end, he just was able to walk past the defender and pass the ball into an on-waiting Marcus Rashford, who saw his efforts saved by the keeper. But ultimately, we got ourselves the second goal. So it looks as if now the 3 points are pretty much secure from this one against a very resilient Torino side. You know, take nothing away from them. They're not an easy team to play against, and I'll always say it about teams. When they give me a game, you know, if they come out and actually want to play and give it an interesting affair, then I'll do that. If they sit back and just let me have most of the play and then go for a 0-0 draw, I find those games frustrating. I'd rather lose 1-0, knowing that it's been a good game, than get a boring 0-0 draw where there's been literally 2 shots in the entire thing, and one of them has gone to my opponent where it's been skied and we've skied the other one or something crazy like that. So I don't like those types of games. I never have done in FIFA. It's always boring, and that's why I don't really particularly like competitive FIFA, because at the end of the day, when somebody gets a 1-0 advantage, normally they'd kick it around the back and pass it around the back, and it just ends up being one of those situations where I don't find it entertaining because I can't play. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm constantly chasing somebody, I mean, yeah, it's a great way to win, but if I'm constantly chasing someone around their back foot or trying to get the ball back, I don't like having that situation. So I'll always say that about competitive FIFA. It's always been one of my pet hates is when somebody scores one goal and then starts passing it around the back. I hate it in real life as well when my friends do it, and that's why they do it to wind me up even more. But, you know, sometimes, guys, it is what it is, I guess. And if you want to win games, you've got to do the business when it matters. And if that means passing it around the back, then so be it, unfortunately. And there was no passing it around the back from us as we did, in fact, march our way to a 2-0 victory. So, guys, as well, I've said it before, I'm very, very disappointed the way we lost our unbeaten attempt here in the form of Juventus. You remember back to, I'm going to show you the league table in a second. We've actually played 15 games with 14 wins and a single defeat. If you remember back to that defeat as well, it was a 1-0 defeat to Juventus where we hit the post 4 times, and their goal was an extremely scrappy goal. And I've never been so salty about a loss in my life on FIFA. Like, I don't mind losing games here and there, but when you lose it the way I did, and if that is the only game I lose in the entire of the season, that will be so tilting, man. If I know the way I lost it was because I hit the post 4 times and then conceded a scrappy goal to Juventus, that would be so disheartening. But I tell you what, guys, as I've said before, anything is possible in football. And sometimes you can have 40 shots and still go on to lose a game 1-0 through an own goal. And it might not even have that they have a shot on your goal. But at the end of the day, it's FIFA and it's football. So you can see we're moving into the second game of today's episode of Simmed One against Cagliari, as we did in fact pick up a 2-0 victory there. Dembele with both of those on the day. Absolutely unbelievable player he is. I've said it before and I'll keep on saying it for the remainder of this series until we come to a close. He is an absolute god amongst men. What a player he is. If you haven't already got him, go out and pick him up for your career mode. Seriously, guys, you will not be disappointed in him at all. You can see as well, Vincenzi growing quite nicely. He's 87 at the moment, looking to become 88 as well. If you remember when we picked him up, he wasn't too highly rated in terms of his where he is now. I think we got him at 82. He's now at an 88 possibly by the end of this season, which could be extremely interesting actually, because if you remember Joel Green, he at the moment is one of the highest rated players in the world at 94. If we could get Vincenzi to around that rating, it could be quite interesting deciding which one I preferred out of him and Joel Green. Now, I've said before, I really enjoyed Joel Green, but if you watch the Road to Glory career mode, I think personally, Riera Canadell is just much better than Joel Green was. Green was extremely good when he first came through the ranks at Leeds, and if you remember back to when he first, had his first season at the club, he was scoring some vital, important goals. I remember the FA Cup final against, I think it was Everton, when we beat them in that absolutely wonderful thriller. He was an unbelievable player on the day. And then, once we hit the Prem and got some more good players into the team, he kind of got overshadowed and never really, sort of shone as he did back in the first season. So that was one thing that I always was a bit disappointed with Joe Green, in the fact that once he got to the big leagues, he kind of felt as though he could take his foot off the gas, I guess, because everybody else was doing a good job as well. So that kind of disappointed me in a sense, and that's probably why he's never going to be one of my, all-time favourite regens. He's probably one of the best ones in terms of rating that I've had, but in terms of my favourite, I think Riera Canadell just about nicks it right now, and maybe even Lou as well between the sticks. You see how much faith I put in the Chineseman, and there's a reason for that, because he's absolutely unbelievable. So, Riera Canadell, guys, if you've not already watched the Road to Glory career mode, go and check it out. He is currently our striker. Picked him up for 450k in that series, but I don't want to talk too much about that one, as we are in a different one completely. You can see the boys getting ready for this game up against Fiorentina, who are actually in a decent position themselves. Not too bad at all, as we did get a free kick here inside the first 30 minutes of this one. Ronaldo Sanchez get it on the loose ball, gets it past the man, dinks it over him as well, as the challenge comes in very, very sloppy from the defender there, as we did in fact have to take it with Ronaldo Sanchez. This is one of our weak points in the team. We don't really have a world-class free kick taker in this Inter Milan team, because if we did, these would be a lot more dangerous, but unfortunately Sanchez has to take this one, and it is straight into the goalkeeper's hands. As we move into I guess the stroke of half-time. 44 minutes on the clock now. Nice ball in from Vincenzi to Kimmich. Kimmich, so close to finding that bottom corner with the low-driven shot there. He's been brilliant since his move as well from Bayern Munich, and that was credit to you guys asking me to sign him. Into the second half we went, as Dembele looked to make his impact on this one. Gets past a few challenges before getting into the area, and his strike with a low-driven shot, again, just wide of that bottom corner. Would have been a sensational goal from him, as Fiorentina look to come forward themselves here as we pick up a loose ball. Give it off to Vincenzi. He gives it inside to Tolisso. Tolisso into Rashford. Rashford waits the run of, I do believe, Dembele to come in. He fires one goalwards. And in the form he's in, with that 5-star weak foot, you'd be expecting the net to be bulging. But no, he sent his effort wide of the post. And it looked as if it was not going to be our day today, unfortunately, in front of goal. But 75 minutes in, I kept the pressure up, kept looking to try and find the opening goal of this one. Sanchez on the ball, great ball through, as Tolisso made a fantastic run. Gets there ahead of the goalkeeper and simply smashes that one into the back of the open net. So, it took us 77 minutes. A very resilient Fiorentina side, but we eventually broke them down. And I tell you what, the pass from Sanchez into Tolisso, the run as well from Tolisso as well, was absolutely sensational. You see it there. He comes back onside, then checks back, and just about gets through the middle of the two central defenders who tried to play him offside. But unfortunately for Fiorentina, there was a fullback playing him onside. And I'm so glad the referee spotted it, because we managed to put the ball in the back of the empty net after the keeper tried to come and reach the ball first. Didn't do it. And we led the game by a goal to 0. And that was the way the game would end as well. So we picked up another 3 points in this one. So from 3 games today, 2 of them are, of course, played by us and 1 of them simmed. We got 9 points out of a possible 9. Fiorentina there absolutely rolled over and let me have most of the play. And that was one of the games where I would kind of get frustrated. If I didn't score there and I'd have drawn that 0-0, them having 0 shots, those are the games that frustrate me. But I tell you what, the fact that I managed to dig deep, find the goal, and also take the 3 points as well shows that sometimes you have to just admit when you're not playing well in front of goal. And that's exactly what I was doing. I wasn't having a good time in front of goal. Most of my shots were going wide, and it's not the way you want to be going with, because at the end of the day, you need to be putting away your chances at this level. If we don't do that, we're going to suffer. And the idea that I've got for another career mode to come up, or rather a challenge career mode in the sense, we definitely have to take our chances in that one. It's not easy, let me tell you that right now. And that will be coming out when this series finishes, I do believe. So, yeah, stay tuned for that one, though. If you've enjoyed this episode, guys, I'd appreciate a like rating. Thank you all for your continued support on the channel. As always, you guys are all immense for everything you guys do for me and the channel itself. I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for all the support you guys have given me as well. So it's absolutely amazing to see. Let's keep it going, guys, and I'll catch you all with another video very soon. Adios.